Okay, so get this. Yesterday, I was all ready to get my filming done. I had my notes ready on my laptop. My equipment was all set up and ready to go. But all of a sudden, I get like an error message on one of the softwares that I'm using. So I restarted the laptop, but I forgot. I did not save any of my fucking notes that I had on here. Like I use Word documents to take my notes and I didn't save not one of them. So when I went to restart the computer, right before you restart it, you know how it gives you that warning like you're gonna lose access or progress on all of these things that are not saved. I went through, I was like, yeah, let's go. And I forgot to save. I was like, oh wait, there was not enough time for me to save it. So I had my little moment yesterday. I had my crash out moment that I thought was completely valid. Because honestly, I take so many notes on the episode, obviously, because you want to be as detailed as possible. But after that, I was like, fuck that. I'm just going to go ahead and give us the recap, the highlights of what we actually need to know. Because if we're going to be so for real, this episode was filler. It was not a lot going on. So this was perfect. Let's just go ahead and get into the recap.
I'll be on it always.
Hey queens, welcome back to my queen cave. My name is Shelby, queen of the queen cave, and in here I drop recaps and reviews of my favorite TV shows and movies, commentary on any topics I find interesting, and deep dives into Black history, Black culture, and any icons that help shape that culture. If that is your vibe, hit the subscribe, you already know the deal. Today we are recapping The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 14, Greek for a Week. The girls are getting ready for their trip to Greece, and Angie is so excited for her citizenship, of course, because that's all she talks about. And I'm happy that we'll be able to soak up the culture so we can get it all out of our system, because I am so tired of Angie always talking about Greece, that's Greek, this is Greek, it's like, girl, we get it. We get it. Thank you so much, but it is overload at this point. And I thought what was so funny, what I thought was so funny is we get over to Bronwyn and she's packing up and Todd is in there with her. And Bronwyn is like, I'm so excited that Angie will be there and she'll be able to translate, because if the girls want to do a repeat of what happened on the plane, she can get us out of trouble. And Todd is like, nah, she could be saying, yeah, lock that bitch up. I was like, what? Lock that bitch up, Todd? Really? He does not like the girls. He cannot stand them. They make him sick. Now they get to Greece and it is so pretty, and I love when they go out of the country to these new places, because we can see how much fun they have with these new experiences and these new cultures, and you can tell they actually funnel some real money, monions, into the trip, because they have the yachts, all the luxury villas, all the VIP services, all the above. And when they have the trips in state, it just gives brokey. It just gives like, you guys didn't put any effort into it. For example, when Angie had her girls trip when we went camping, that was cheap as fuck. I was like, this is it? This is the girls trip? If that was me, I would be married. I would be so disappointed. I'm not engaging. I'm not being participating, because why are we camping? I don't know. But anyway, they get there, and of course, Heather cannot wait 5 minutes before she's already including her sexual innuendo jokes. They start talking about like trying to compare islands, if Canawan was bigger than the island they were on, or if it was bigger than Barbados, something like that. They're trying to compare how big the island was. And of course, Heather goes, I don't know the sizes of islands. She says, I don't understand the sizes of islands or the sizes of dicks. It's like, Heather, again, let me hold your hand when I tell you this. No one is asking for these jokes. No one is finding these jokes funny. These are so just why? Why do we always need to be talking about something sexual with you? I don't know if she does that, again. I don't know if she does that to be charming, to be funny, to be relatable, to be wacky. I don't know what the fuck she's looking for, but I find it so annoying and desperate and pick me and thirsty, and she just wants any kind. I don't know what else to say about that. I just feel like she just wants any kind of attention to her, because why else have these jokes? Why else keep saying anything she can to make something sexual? She's that type of friend. Everything is sexual. And it's like, Heather, please tone it all the way down. No one has said anything about dicks. No one said anything about wanting to have sex or anything. You're the only one that's always talking about that at any given point when ever there's a man involved or where men could be involved. It's giving desperate. It's giving low self-esteem. Still, after you had all your work done, it seems like you still have some insecurities. And I'm going to go ahead and say that now because she makes a comment about Lisa later on in the episode. I'm going to get on Heather's ass later on. But yeah, as I was saying, Whitney is still pissed off at Bronwyn for shoving her under the bus after she told Meredith what she said behind her back. And she says that she does want to be open-minded to moving forward with Bronwyn. She just now knows that she cannot trust her for shit. So now the girls sit down for lunch and Heather decides to be petty towards Lisa. And she tells her that she bought a Cartier watch just like Lisa has. And Lisa's like, oh, okay, that's cool for you. And Heather gives us this whole story about at the airport, Lisa and Angie were arguing over who had a Cartier watch first. And Lisa told Angie that she copied her. And that made Heather, I don't know if a Cartier store was in the airport or around it, but she ran down there to grab her and Whitney matching Cartier watches to go back and tell Lisa, oh, you're not the only one that can get a Cartier watch. I have one too, type of thing. It's like, what point did that prove, Heather? Like, obviously, Lisa is delusional for saying that anyone is copying her for getting a Cartier watch, which I agree with Mary, is a ugly grandma-looking watch. But I don't know what you were looking to gain out of that. That was so petty, childish, and to me, a waste of $6,000. That was so stupid. So now it's the next morning, and Lisa is getting her glam done. And in her confessional, she says, I get my glam done every single day. Who wants to waste a day looking ugly? And I'm like, so is that you saying, Lisa, that you think you're ugly without makeup? Because it's sounding like you are saying you need glam. You need glam to look and feel a certain type of way, which is sad. That is the case. And honestly, it was already clearly known that you had insecurities when you were crying on that Palm Springs trip a few seasons ago because you couldn't have your glam in one of the challenges they had when they had to do the drag queen challenge and she didn't want to participate. So it was a whole big dumbass mess. But I find it interesting that she said that because I'm like, girl, what else could you have meant by that comment? Now the girls are all outside and they're talking and chatting before they get the rundown on what activities they have planned for the day. And Heather again is trying to poke at Lisa and make a joke about wanting to buy her the same Gucci slides she has on. And Meredith is standing right next to Heather and she tries to like ease her way in with Heather and join in on the joke. And she's like, oh, Lisa, Heather's already plotting to get those slides. She's already trying to see how she can get them, trying to laugh. And Heather's looking at her like, Heather's looking at her hella sideways because she knows Meredith is trying to like ease her way back in and she does not want the issues that they have to just be swept under the rug and bypassed. She is still pissed off that Meredith called her a liar and then did not want to sit over here and apologize for it later on. I'm just so tired of Meredith having screen time, continuing to lie over and over about the situation that could have been dead eons ago. Now the girls are at the beach and Mary... like literally completely out of nowhere, Mary starts assessing people's head shapes. Like, what the fuck? She says that Bronwyn and Heather have bucket-shaped heads, and that means that they're brainiacs. They take in a lot of information. And I'm like, that's code for you have a big-ass head. To me, because I'm like, a bucket-shaped head, girl, what does that even mean? She then goes on to give some more examples. She said oblong-shaped, pie-shaped. She said square-shaped head. She said if you have a square-shaped head, you're a dingbat.
I didn't, dingbat. Listen.
Mary needs to be stopped. I just feel like there's literally no reason why she came up with that or where that even come from. And why is she telling people what kind of head shape they have? I wonder what head shape you have, Mary, because I would say it's very much dingbat shaped in my opinion. So now the girls are sitting down for lunch and Angie's asking the girls, how do you guys feel about the men here? Of course, Heather's like, they're hot. I'm like, anyway, we don't need to hear anything from you, Heather. Next. And she asked Bronwyn, are you going to get anyone's phone number while you're out here? Because you did mention that you and Todd were thinking about, the open marriage agreement. I was just as confused as everyone else. Why Bronwyn all of a sudden wants to act as if Angie saying that was so like out of left field. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, huh? Bronwyn, what are you talking about? And Bronwyn over here like completely backtracks of everything she said about Todd and her and their issues and her wanting to propose the option of an open marriage agreement, whatever. So now she wants to be over here. Oh, I never said that. I never said that we were in an open marriage. I never said we were talking about it. Me and Todd are just fine. He's happy with me. I'm happy with him. We don't have any drama in my household. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? Because they give us receipts, flashbacks of you telling all the girls all your business after Todd was looking at some woman in some lingerie on the plane. Yeah. And you got so mad and you kicked Todd out of the house, and she said she never kicked him out. And I'm just like, they have this on camera, and I cannot wait for them to play it at the reunion at the end of the season so we can see what your response is going to be, because there was zero reason for you to lie about the whole thing and then try to gaslight the girls, because Heather was like, so you did say those things. I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like you didn't, but girl, we remember. And Bronwyn tries to gaslight Heather. She's like, oh, I don't know where you got that from. You put 2 + 2 and got 4 somehow. And I'm like, I don't know what to say about that. I'm literally lost for words on how the women on this show completely backtrack, gaslight, try to manipulate what we already have seen on camera. It is so wild that you think that's gonna fucking slide. We already remember what happened. We can go back to the last episode on our own and check and verify you said this shit. But we didn't have to because they already put the receipts in the episode. She then says she does not owe anyone an explanation about what's going on in her household. And it's like, that is so rich for you to say, because you're the one that brought the information from your household to the rest of the girls. And then you even defended against Todd telling you to stop doing that. You told him that it was important for you to have a friendship and relationship with these girls and be able to talk to someone outside of him. So now all of a sudden you want to backtrack and say that didn't happen. Interesting. Next. Okay, so now the girls are on their way to like this marketplace so they can shop. And they're walking up there for whatever reason. And as they're walking, Whitney slips and she falls. And I was like, oh no, that's embarrassing. And some of the girls don't even stop. Like Bronwyn and Heather, they kept walking. I don't know if they didn't see her or they just didn't want to pick her up, but I was like, that is not looking good, Whitney. But Lisa is not with them. She's taking forever with her glam, which has Angie so pissed off because she's not joining the group. And Heather, wow, it's like I was saying before, Heather makes a comment and says, oh, well, like she says, I would hate to have that crippling insecurity, to feel like I need to have glam that bad to where I'm missing out on all the festivities. I'm coming up here by myself. That would suck. And I was like, oh, wait. Whoa, Heather, please stop right there, because if we want to be so for real and do a flashback of you and your insecurities, you look completely different than you did seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 probably. You got so much work done. And let's go ahead and go down the list on you. Let's see. She got a breast augmentation, tummy tuck, nose jobs, plural. Yeah. Botox, fillers, veneers, and we cannot forget Ozempic, because we know she was a little bit fuller before. So it's like, don't come over here acting as if you are just this fully confident person and I can look down on everyone else because now you feel good about yourself. That is bullshit. I'm getting that vibe. Let's go ahead and make sure we're being humble. And as the reports have said, you have spent over $200,000 to go ahead and have your transformation. So let's go ahead and tone it down and focus on your own shit, because clearly you also had plenty of expensive insecurities as well. Next! Now we're at the final scene and the girls are sitting down for dinner, and Meredith bought Heather a peace offering gift, and Heather does accept the gift, but she is not just gonna bypass their issues. And after a few awkward moments, Mary signals for Heather and Meredith to just go ahead and hash it out. And Meredith, of course, she does not want to have the conversation in front of the group. She wants to have it privately. And she keeps saying that she was trying to talk to Heather a few times before the trip and during the trip, but Heather was not going for it. And Heather was saying she did not want to have the conversation in private because she did not want Heather to try to twist the story and gaslight her anymore. So at this point, Heather's just like, you know what? I'm not okay with how you called me a liar, and you just refused to admit that you called me a liar and apologize. Lisa now chimes in because of course she is Meredith's Captain Save-A-Ho. And And she tells Heather that she's being too judgmental, and she also says she does not live up to the same standard that she's putting on everyone else when it comes down to friendships, which has Heather kind of confused, like, what are you talking about? And then she tells her that Meredith should also be able to express her feelings just as Heather is, which she has been doing this whole time. I don't know what she's talking about with that. Heather is pissed off, saying that she's always rode hard for Meredith, and Meredith picks and chooses what she wants to have so much outrage for, saying that there was other things in the past that she just bypassed and didn't give any thought into that were way bigger issues than what she wants to be mad at with Brittany now. For example, when Lisa told Angie to dig up dirt on her family and her alleged bankruptcies, and Meredith says she does not agree with that. And it's like, of course you don't. It's not surprising that you don't, Meredith. You don't agree with shit that makes sense. Lisa again chimes in, and now she's crying, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what the fuck are the tears for? And I'm like, I had to skip her part, because I'm like, I don't want to hear anything about you, Lisa, because it is not about you right now. We're not talking about you, and it's real sad that you need a camera time that bad that we're not even talking about you, and you need to reinforce the topic back onto you after we were talking about Meredith. But anyway, Whitney peeps this, and she's like, can we get back on the topic of discussion that we were talking about, Meredith? I want to make sure this is being held accountable and not swept under the rug, because Meredith, you are the reason why the group is having problems and the group is divided. And that has Meredith pissed off in her confessional, and she says that Whitney is the one that always stirs the pot. Whitney is the reason why we have all the problems in the group, which I'm like, how? And then she says that Whitney is always projecting all of her issues onto everyone else, and she gets a pass because she's always on a healing journey. She then says, wow. She says everyone in the group has done much worse than she has in reference to the Brittany situation. So I'm like, so is that a confession? Is that you saying that you did do it, and you're saying that everyone else has done way worse, which is not the case, and that's not true, that's bullshit? And then she gets up and she storms off, and that's Lisa following her. Of course, Captain Save a Hoe, make sure you go with your hoe. So now it's just like, are we kidding? That's the end of it? And Heather was like, you know what? I already know they're going to go off and talk about it. They're going to flip the story. And I'm going to end up apologizing again after I was just telling Meredith my feelings about how she called me a liar and how that hurt me as a friend. So that is the end of the episode. And I was like, again, this was a filler episode. Not much happened. The whole thing that was interesting was at the end of the episode for 5 seconds. And again, it wasn't even any new information. It's the same thing. Whitney and everyone else is trying to hold Meredith accountable. Lisa wants to come to Meredith's defense at every given point when she does not deserve it, and Meredith will not take accountability or apologize. There will not be anything different. How did you feel about this filler episode? Let me know how you felt in the comments down below. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!